Welcome to all of you in our 15th Meet Spiritual Ecstasy Group. Today, we have thought of celebrating Swamiji's birthday by remembering his life and teachings. As per the schedule, there are today 7 speakers who will be speaking on Swamiji. First, myself will be speaking on life of Swamiji, reading from the book Life of Swami Vivekananda by his Eastern and Western disciples. Then Ashis will read from Swamiji's quotes in English. Then our guest speaker, Naveena, will speak on Vivekananda for Youth and his journey of introducing this beautiful book, Be One with God. Then we will go to Sohail. Sohail will read from Vedanta, Voice of Freedom. And then Adrija, the youngest member of our group, will read from the book Pulse of Wisdom. And then Sayan will read famous persons' thoughts on Swami Vivekananda. And then we'll finish with Joy. If Joy joins in, Swamiji's quotes in Bengali. That's how we planned today to start our program. First, we'll do the Vedic chanting that we do. I request Ishita to share the Vedic mantra.
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah Harihi Om Sahanavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviriyam Karavai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
The English translation of this Vedic hymn is like this. Om, may we all be protected, may we all be nourished, may we work together with great energy, may our intellect be sharpened, may our study be effective, let there be no animosity amongst us. Om, peace, peace, peace. Peace in me, peace in nature, in divine forces. Now I will read.
सिंपल सी बात है कि आप क्या क्रिमिनल को ज्यादा पकड़ने से ज्यादा एक कॉमेडियन को पकड़ने के लिए आपके भेजा है कहता है कि आपके यहाँ प्रॉब्लम क्या है कि हमारे यहाँ
Now we will read from the book Life of Swami Vivekananda. My humble request to everybody, especially Ashis, to kindly mute the audio. We can hear your surrounding sounds that will disturb the meet. Kindly mute kindly mute the audio. Ashis, I think you can hear me. Now we'll start reading. Last day we have seen, we are reading from the chapter Sri Ramakrishna, Guru of Swami Vivekananda, his great sadhana that he had undertaken, and how many great sadhakas and sadhikas claimed that Sri Ramakrishna was an incarnation. We'll be continuing from that path. Later, there came to Dakshineshwar a Vaishnava saint, an itinerant monk and a devotee of Rama. Ramlala, or the child Rama, was his favorite deity, and he had already had a vision of him. He carried a mental image of Ramlala with him, which he showed to Sri Ramakrishna. But Sri Ramakrishna saw the living Rama in it and soon established a loving relationship with it. He saw Ramlala as vividly as he saw anyone else. Now dancing, now springing on his back, or insisting on being taken up in his arms. He became so much attached to Sri Ramakrishna that he refused to go with his devotee, who was finally obliged to leave him behind, satisfied to see him happy in Sri Ramakrishna's company. Ramakrishna next took up the highest form of Vaishnava sadhana, the Madhura Bhava, or the relation between a mistress and her lover. All the Vaishnava forms of sadhana hinge on the one potent factor of human life, love. This particular sadhana represents the closest union between the worshipper and the object of worship. He is not impressed by the grandeur of his ideal, but only the sweetness of the relationship interests him. The most beautiful example of this form of worship is found in Sri Krishna's life. The perfect devotee of this type is one who looks only to the comfort of the beloved, regardless of his own personal pleasure or convenience. This sadhana roots out the sex idea. The soul has no sex. It is neither male nor female. It is the body which has sex. The man who desires to reach the spirit must get rid of sex distinctions. Sri Ramakrishna took up this sadhana with his usual zeal. He brought the feminine idea into everything. He dressed and spoke like woman and lived with the woman in Mathuranath's family. He made every little detail of their life his own till at last he found that the truth could be gained as a woman too. About this time, Totapuri, a sannyasin of the highest Vedantic realization, came to Dakshineshwar. Appreciating the spiritual gifts of Sri Ramakrishna, he asked if he might teach him the secret of Advaita, non dual philosophy. Under his guidance, Ramakrishna attained to Nirvikalpa Samadhi, the state in which the soul realizes its identity with Brahman, the highest impersonal truth, of which it is said, if one remains in it continuously for 21 days, the body withers like dried leaves, and the embodied soul realizes its identity with existence absolute. It had taken Totapuri 40 years to attain this divine consciousness, but Sri Ramakrishna attained it in a single day. A wandering monk who hitherto had never stayed at a place more than 3 days, Totapuri remained at Dakshineshwar for 11 months, imparting his knowledge to his wife Swamiji Arka. The disciple, in his turn, became the guide of his teacher and enlightened him regarding the reality of the personal aspects of truth which Totapuri had hitherto refused to recognize. Meanwhile, strange stories that he was mad were current in his native village. His wife Sharadamani Devi resolved to learn the truth for herself. So she set out and walked to Dakshineshwar. He at once admitted her right to be by his side and said, as for me, the mother has shown me that she resides in every woman, and so I have learned to look upon every woman as mother. That is the only idea I can have about you. As yet, as I have been married to you, if you wish to draw me into the world, I am at your service. The wife, who was a pure and noble soul, at once understood and said that she had no wish to bring him down to a worldly life, that all she wanted was to remain beside him, to serve him, and to learn of him. Thus did Sharadamani Devi, endowed with a rare spiritual fervor, became his first disciple. Sri Ramakrishna took up the task of teaching her, covering a wide range of subjects from housekeeping to the knowledge of Brahman. We keep up to this today. From this beautiful book, we are reading Sri Ramakrishna's sadhana and how Totapuri has taught him the Advaita sadhana, the non-dual aspect of Vedanta. Now, as per the schedule, we will go to Ashis. Hopefully Ashis is with us. Ashis will read Swamiji's quotes in English. Ashis.
Yes, thanks, Arko, giving me another chance again. Good morning, guys. Thanks for meeting with you all after a long time. Sorry for that delay. So, Arko, as per schedule, I will be reading some quotes of Swami Vivekananda. Those quotes are as follows. Swami Vivekananda, if you cannot see God in the human face, how can you see him in the clouds, or in images made of dull, dead matter, or in mere fictitious stories of our brain? Swami Vivekananda says also, you will be helped when you are reduced to dust, but you are a spirit. Pull yourself out of difficulties by yourself. Save yourself by yourself. Swami Vivekananda says also, my sons, all of you be man. This is what I meant, what I want. If you are even a little successful, I shall feel my life has been meaningful. Swami Vivekananda
Ashis, I think we can't hear you. Ashis, I think we can't hear you. Can you hear Ashis? I think there is a technical problem in network.
hello. Am I audible?
Yeah. Now you're audible. We can't hear you.
Okay.
I think for.
So,
You can
from the
read from the
beginning, I
second
will
quote.
start.
You can
Shall I
start from
start?
the second quote. You can start from the
Okay.
second quote.
Okay. Arko. The quotes of Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda says, you will be helped when you are reduced to dust, but you are spirit. Pull yourself out of difficulties by yourself. Save yourself by yourself. Swami Vivekananda also says, my sons, all of you are be man. This is what I want. If you are even a little successful, I shall feel my life has been meaningful. Swami Vivekananda, another quote says, there is no allegiance possible where there is no character in the leader. And perfect purity ensures the most lasting allegiance and confidence. Swami
I think we will come back to Ashis later on, as we are facing the network problem. Ashis, be with us. Now I will read one small section, as we'll be celebrating 12th January as National Youth Day. So I'll be reading about this National Youth Day, what is this, and when it was started, and the importance of this. National Youth Day is celebrated on 12th January, being the birthday of Swami Vivekananda. In 1984, the Government of India declared this day as National Youth Day, and since 1985, the event is celebrated in India every year. It was a decision of Government of India taken in 1984 to celebrate the birthday of great Swami Vivekananda, that is 12th January, as National Youth Day every year. The Government of India quoted that the philosophy of Swamiji and the ideals for which he lived and worked could be a great source of inspiration for the Indian Youth Day. On 12th January 2013, former Indian Prime Minister Manmohan Singh told in his address at the inauguration of 4-year-long celebrations of Swami Vivekananda's 150th birth anniversary, what Gandhiji said captures the great importance of spreading Swami Vivekananda's ideas and ideals among the youth in our country today. He personified the eternal energy of the youth and their restlessness quest for truth. It is entirely fitting that the Government of India has declared 12th January, the birthday of Swami Vivekananda, as a National Youth Day. We must work to rekindle the eternal message of this great patriot and son of India. The National Youth Day is observed all over India at schools and colleges with processions, speeches, music, youth conventions, seminars, yogasanas, presentations, competitions in essay writing, recitations, and sports on 12th January every year. Swami Vivekananda's lectures and writings, deriving their inspiration from India's spiritual tradition and the broad outlook of his master, Sri Ramakrishna Paramhansa. These were the source of inspiration and have motivated numerous youth organizations, study circles, and service projects involving the youth. That is the importance of National Youth Day. Today, as I have already told in our WhatsApp group, we are privileged to have Naveena brother with us as our guest speaker in today's meet. He has compiled a beautiful book named as Be One with God, a guiding light to mankind, a compilation of the timeless wisdom of Swami Vivekananda. Sohail, in our previous talks in one day, has said the great work of Binayak Lohani and his Parivar Sansthan. What Binayak Lohani has commented on this book, I will read. Naveena CK has spent a lot of effort in carefully selecting and compiling great insights from Swami Vivekananda's vast corpus of work. This work should be helpful to everyone by bringing them in touch with one of the greatest messengers of light that humankind has seen, Swami Vivekananda. This particular book, at the back side of the cover page, it ends with Swami Vivekananda's great quote like this: "It may be that I shall find it good to get outside of my body, to cast it off like a disused garment, but I shall not cease to work. I shall inspire men everywhere until the world shall know that it is one with God." My humble request to Lina to please kindly mute the audio, and to all of you, kindly mute the audio. Kindly mute the audio, Lina, if you can hear me. Hello. Kindly mute the audio. Ishita, if you can do it, please see to that. Yeah, Naveena has done it. Thank you. Naveena has agreed on a very short notice, as yesterday I called him and he readily agreed at once to speak on our group. Thank you, Naveena, for your cooperation. While talking over the phone, he said that Mysore Ramakrishna Math is my second home. This also gives us a glimpse of his lifestyle. He has spent a lot of time in RKM ashrams and with Ramakrishna Mission monks. This book, Be One with God, has been circulated in many institutions. I have read number of times in FB from this book and will soon start reading in our YouTube channel. Swami Vivekananda's quotes has been divided under various headings in this book. I am reading a few of them from the first chapter, Make Your Own Future. This is the first lesson to learn. Be determined not to curse anything outside, not to lay the blame upon anyone outside, but be a man, stand up, lay the blame on yourself. You will find that is always true. Get hold of yourself. Everyone must work out his own salvation. First, make character. That is the highest duty you can perform. You have not to think that you were brought into the world without your choice and left in this most horrible place, but to know that you have yourself manufactured your body bit by bit, just as you are doing it this very moment. I will share the link later on in our group if you want to buy this beautiful book, okay? Often I share Naveena's design Swamiji's quotes, "Be one with God," in our group. I think often you have seen that. Without any further delay, I will go to Naveena. He will speak on Swami Vivekananda for youth and his journey in introducing this beautiful book. Naveena.
नमः श्री यतिराज विवेकानंद सुहृदये सच्चित् सुख स्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारे. Good morning to everyone. I'm very happy to be with you and to know that get together you have. Yeah.
Naveena, if you can please switch on the video option.
Okay.
We can see you.
All right. I hope I'm visible.
Yeah, thank you. You can continue.
Yeah, sure. So it's great to be with you all and to know that you have been studying Swami Vivekananda's teachings as a group. And when we were doing engineering, so we also had a group. So we used to assemble every day afternoon and spend some time reading Vivekananda's teachings. That was in 2002-3 in that time. So it had a lasting impact on my life. And also I see that many people who were in the group, they got immense benefit in various ways. Um, Specifically, I have been asked to talk on Swami Vivekananda's message to youth and also about the book, and I have 15 minutes. I'll try to sort of summarize and give you a overview of that. The thing with great thoughts is that it's not something that can be communicated in one or 2 days also. It's something that we take and contemplate upon, and then we go on to build our lives upon that. So that's as important as that. So you should be very clear about this, that when we read Vivekananda's thoughts, and we know that Swamiji was born to lead mankind to the highest destiny. So his quotes will be important to us. So we have to approach Swamiji from that perspective, and every quote that we read, every saying of Vivekananda is relevant to us, and we have to spend more time on it to understand it. Maybe I read Vivekananda's books in 2004-5, starting from that time. Now, when I read it again, I find that it has far more depth than what I had imagined. So you can understand that it can take time to understand these thoughts and the importance and the value that it can add to our lives. And it's a great fortune that someone like Vivekananda was born on earth and gave direction to all of us. So, I mean, there's something that we should really understand and value always. Sometimes it happens that we take it for granted. So it's not something that we can do like that in this case. So with that introduction, I would like to talk about what Swami Vivekananda's message was for the youth of India in particular. Uh, as Adrija was saying in the very beginning, the book that we have compiled as Be One with God, that was Swami Vivekananda's message to mankind, and that was for the entire mankind, so not specifically youth. But for the youth, he had something more specific because youth have some more energy with them, the whole life in front of them, with which they can do wonders. So this evolution of man from the amoeba to the level of Buddha, the highest state, that is to be one with God, that applies to every individual and every living being, not just human being also. So that's the overall destiny of mankind. So that we can never lose sight of. So that applies to us very much. But if you take out the youth only, that particular section, so there is something that Swami Vivekananda has particularly addressed to the youth. So those are the few things I would like to take up and discuss with you also, because I understand that you are all less than 32 years of age and you have wonderful energy, that intellectual clarity, and very good heart and character. So these are the foundations of any great work. So Swamiji expected the first thing he said, "My hope of the future lies in the youths of character, intelligent, renouncing all for the service of others, and obedient, who can sacrifice their lives in working out my ideas and thereby do good to themselves and the country at large." Just understand this. I'm just saying, his hope lies in the youths of character. So Swamiji, as Akarati was saying in one of the sayings of the book Be One with God, Swamiji said, make your character. That is the highest duty you can perform. So this character, when we respect Sri Ramakrishna, when we respect Bhagavan Buddha, when we respect Ramana Maharshi or any great person, so we pay the highest respect to the character of the person. So Swamiji was first message to the youth was make your character. It's the first duty. So this character encompasses all aspects of our life. So character is not only something that we express at one certain occasions. No, it's not like that. Every moment of our life, every thought that passes through our mind, every time we utter some words to anyone, every action we undertake, it has more implications than what we generally think they have. So that also is the message of Karma Yoga, that character, character and character. So Swamiji's most important message for the youth to build character. Unless we have good character, we cannot do any good to anybody. So we have to drill deep into our minds that we should be youths of character. So character also indicates the goodness in the heart, the purpose for which we live, and the highest use that we can make use of our life, whether we are directing our life in that particular channel. So these are the things that constitute character. So that should be very clear to us that our primary thing to do in life is to build our character and to make sure it's not for the sake of somebody else that we build our character. Swamiji said, Buddha was great, Christ was great, they were good. What about me and you? So does it make me good? If Buddha was good, no. Let me be good for my own sake. So it's not because the society judges that we should have good character, but it is good for us to have good character for its own sake. So this is the most important thing that you must remember, and every day of your life you must attempt to make your character better and better. And as I said earlier at the very beginning, what happens is these messages you see we take, we discuss, and we probably forget sometimes. But this is a lifetime work to build a character like Buddha's or Sri Ramakrishna's. It may take many more lives also. But having said that, you shouldn't give it up. So it's a continuous process. We make mistakes. Swamiji said, character has to be established with thousand stumbles. Swami Vivekananda himself has said this. So when he said make your character, he also gave that provision. He said, you will make mistakes, thousand stumbles will be made, but doesn't matter. But that objective to be is to be very clear to us that we should move towards evolving our characters towards the highest. That is the one idea, main idea you have to catch in Swamiji. And then intelligence. So, see, man, human being, so it differs from animals in the sense that he is intelligent. So, apart from character, we have to build our intelligence also. So, we cannot be like, log of wood. So we differentiate from animals and plants in every way. So unless we are intelligent, unless that sharpness is there in intellect, we cannot do greater things. Swami just said, you feel good, but to work something, you must have the intelligence also. So you should also focus on improving your intellectual skills. See, these things serve two purposes. One is that you yourself become a better person, and then when you want to do good to others, to society, all these things will come to your aid. If you are a man of character, the whole society will respect you. Mahatma Gandhi, he didn't have anything, but everybody respected him because of his character. Sri Ramakrishna, for example, Buddha. So we see all that. So even to do good to others, to society also, this character is very important, and it should be backed up by intelligence also. We should hone our intellect. And Swamiji said, you must renounce for the sake of others. I am saying this specifically because this is for the youth. So Swamiji's expectation from the youth was that they must renounce, they must sacrifice themselves for the good of all. In one of his parting talks, when he was going to the West for the second time, he told, you nourish your bodies by eating. What good is there in doing that if you do not hold your body as a sacrifice for the welfare of others? Look at the idea. We nourish our bodies, and if we do not sacrifice this body for the sake of others, what is the good of doing this? Then he said, you enrich your intellect by reading books. Even that is no good if you do not sacrifice it for the sake of others. So Swamiji said that every moment of our life should be continuous self-sacrifice, and he himself was a demonstration of that. You see, every day of his life, every moment of his life, it was for others. And Swamiji gave highest importance for this self-sacrifice, working for others. To the youth, Swamiji said, build your character, enhance your intellect, and then renounce for the service of others. And one more important thing Swamiji added, be obedient. So Swamiji always felt that in India we are not obedient to our leaders, or if you're working for a cause, an organization has multiple levels. Everybody wants to lead. Swamiji said it's not possible. Everybody cannot be a leader. At least for the moment, whoever is taken up that mantle of leadership. So we have to be obedient to that organization, to the leader. We can discuss and all that's fine, but everybody cannot be a leader. This obedience is very important. Swami used to say in England, how the 30 million Englishmen ruled 300 million Indians that time. And of course, they also had dominion over other countries also. How such a small country were able to rule so many countries across the world? Swamiji said, even though they have the spirit of independence, the obedience is equally strong. They're obedient. So Swamiji said, you have to be as free as the air and also as loyal as the dog. So you have, though they look apparently contradictory, that's the characteristic we have to have in our life. So that's very important. And Ranganathananji Maharaj, when somebody had asked him, Maharaj, you are so great, why don't you start your own organization? Coming out of Ramakrishna, but he said, this is the order. Swamiji has built it. No, I have to work under this. So such a towering spiritual personality had the respect for that organization and committed to work for those principles under that very organization. So this is very important. So first is that character, then is that intelligence, then you have to sacrifice. This is a continuous sacrifice basically. So these are wonderful ideas. We never get these ideas from any other place as far as read. Swami Vivekananda sort of, he was sent to mankind. It's a great blessing, and whatever he has said is applicable to all of us. So if you're looking to mold your lives on the foundation of what Swami Vivekananda has told us, these are the primary features. And Swamiji was also a great fan of this organization. So now you have come together, maybe 11, 14 of you. So Swamiji wanted that people should organize themselves and start doing good works. It's of course it starts with having a satsang like this, a reading class, but can we take this beyond? So Swamiji wanted that. So we should organize men. He always used to say that. So the next step should be like, can we take up some activities? Having that obedience as the that factor that must always be there. So this is the thing. So you have an organization, then come together, have an organization, then continue doing this. Then Swamiji also said that bring the educated young men together. So you are all of you are educated, bring more of such people together. So these are all Swamiji's messages. So because he said that to build the great future India, we need the coordination of wills. We must bring people together, especially the youth. He always said, act upon the educated youth, bring them together. So this is a great work that you are doing. You already come together, but see that you get more people to this. The more we have, the better. And Swamiji also quoted an example: the grass. If you tie the grass together, you can even catch an elephant and tie it. So that's the power of that unity. So Swamiji wanted that the youth must come together in large numbers, the educated youth. And Swamiji's message, you see, that he came for the amelioration of mankind. And he traveled across India from Kanyakumari to Kashmir, so to say. So he wanted the entire country to move forward. And today also, if you go to probably if you are wherever you are staying, you can go to some of the slums in your area. You can go to some village, tribal places. So who's going to educate them? Who's going to attend to them? So Swamiji's message was that the youth who come together must spread across. They must go to different places wherever there is suffering, wherever people are facing any problems of any sort of problem. You should go and attend to that. If it's a problem with the food, you give them food. If they don't have education, give them education. If they don't have clothes, give them clothes. And Swamiji given a practical example also. He said, some of you can go together, collect whatever you can from different houses, then you go and distribute it to the people who need it. This is a very small thing, basic thing we can do. It's not something, it requires a lot of money, nothing of that sort. So what this happens is, someone just says, these things also go to build your character. When you do service, how do you build character? We discussed earlier, you should have character. So how does this character come? So character comes, of course, by continuous contemplation and trying to make ourselves better. But a great help in molding this character is also going out to serve. And Swami Vivekananda was very clear that this world does not require our help. God Himself will do that. But this is a great gymnasium in which you will become strong. When you do service to others, when you build your character, it's you are the beneficiary. You are raised up. Otherwise, you have no other opportunity to come up. So you should look at it that way also. When you serve, you are being benefited. Swamiji said, be thankful to the beggar. He is giving you an opportunity to exercise the compassion. So this should be taken like a serious sadhana to help people. So there are so many around you. I think you know that example. One young man came to Swamiji. He said, Swamiji, I don't have peace of mind. Whenever I sit to meditate, all disturbing thoughts come to my mind. Swamiji said, just open the doors of the window, see outside. So many people are suffering. You go and serve them. So he's opened up the whole world for the youth. So you must make it a point, because if you are following Swamiji, one of the distinguishing characteristics of your personality should be that you are compassionate. And not being compassionate and being a follower of Swamiji is not, we can't reconcile that. So you must do that. Swamiji's message is once your personal development, that is Atmano Mokshartham, that is the character building, in becoming intelligent, becoming divine day by day, and Jagadita, and to sacrifice whatever you have gained for the sake of the world, and that brings meaning to your life. And I can go on talking about this. I think I'm probably short of time, but I think I've given you overall picture of what Swamiji wanted. So you must keep this in mind and take it seriously. You see, we will have so many get-togethers with different friends. Some parties we will have. We just enjoy there and come. But this kind of a get-together, discussing Swamiji's ideas, is not something similar to that. It's something that's very serious, as serious as our birth and death itself. Those are very important occasions, right? So you must take it like that. It's something very sacred, Swamiji's life and teachings. So we must honor them as such and build our lives on these ennobling ideas. So this is about Swamiji's message for the youth. And I was also asked to talk about the book Be One with God. Be One with God book, yes. I started studying Vivekananda maybe in 2002 from that year. And before that, I had gone through many best-selling books like Norman Vincent Peale, then Robert Sculler. So big names. Went to library, I used to see them. Million copies sold, world-famous books, best-selling books. So I have gone through those books. But when I read Swamiji's very small book, I'm not exaggerating this. It's actually true. It's a very small book called To the Nation. When I read that book, and I felt that whatever these big people are saying in such big books, Swami Vivekananda was saying in 2-3 paragraphs at the most. So he was such a great man. So from then I was studying Vivekananda regularly, you can say. Then once I got access to the smartphone, tablets, and all that, so I had the access to the e-books. I used to collect a lot of quotes, and we also have an organization that is Swami Vivekananda Indian Revival Movement. We do work among the rural children. So we go to schools and we take Swamiji sometimes, distribute Vivekananda's books, give scholarships. We are doing small activities. So actually, Vivekananda's thoughts influenced me in that way also. As I said, we have to work. If we are following Vivekananda, one demonstration is that somewhere it has to express itself in some way. So that's very important. We should actually identify. Yes, he is following Vivekananda in some way. See, we cannot become Vivekananda. That is true. But at least in one of the aspects of our life, we can express Vivekananda, and that will be a great blessing to mankind. So these collections was going on for a long time. I used to send emails also daily in 2009, 10, and those years. Then once the lockdown began, and I had a very large collection, and I knew that the collection is very good, and also some of the quotes were not commonly seen in many places, many books published by the Mutt and other places. So I thought so many great thoughts are there, and such a great blessing to mankind, and also the lockdown period helped me a lot to compile these books by giving me complete time, say 3 4 months, without any disturbance at all of any sort. So I was able to work on this. And when I was compiling this book, I wanted it to be like a guide to individual. So I was trying to identify the various things that an individual deals with in his life. So first thing I thought, everybody wants to make his own future, his or her own future. That's the thing that everybody tells you: become great or do something of some value. So that's the whole purpose. So let's make your own future. That's what all the personal development books also speak about. So what Swami Vivekananda has told about make your own future. What is that future? So the future, as I said earlier at the very beginning, it is to become divine, to become God. That is the perfect, the ultimate destiny for mankind. That must be known to us. Swami Vivekananda said, each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to manifest this divinity, by doing by different ways like karma yoga, bhakti yoga, raja yoga, and jnana yoga, and all. So that goal is very clear. So that is your future, to become God. That is the highest. We should never lose sight of that goal. Indian scriptures, Bhagwan Shri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa Dev, so they all said that the goal of human life is to realize God. So Vivekananda, of course, he expressed how we can do that, how we can realize God. So not only by contemplation, doing meditation and all that, but by being dynamic in every aspect of our lives. So that is make your own future, different aspects of it. And Swamiji always was giving insights into the smallest aspects of life also. As he said, to make the divinity manifest in every moment of life. Every moment of life includes the way we are talking now, and after we go, whatever we do. So every moment of life, the divinity has to express itself. So Swami Vivekananda's idea of human life is so all-encompassing that you'll be surprised that somebody can be so holistic as Swami Vivekananda was. So the first chapter was that, and then struggle and hope. So we are going in the path of that highest destiny, and we definitely come across so many struggles in our lives, and we have so many things to contend with within ourselves. So it's not a very easy road. Swami Vivekananda said that it's a toughest road basically to the highest, and he said that it's a wonder that so many succeed. It's not a wonder that so many people fail in this journey. So that all those quotes related to the struggle, and that was given in the second chapter. Then, most importantly, know yourselves. What a man really is. You are God, Tattvamasi. We have all read that. And what Swamiji said about the real nature of man. Maybe I'm appearing like this. No, you have different, form, names and forms. But behind this, there is some reality for man, and that should be known to us. That is the highest, the Atma Dhyana, and the collection of sayings about man's real nature. That is in the third chapter. That is know yourselves. Then universality, like this is very important today. Even today, it's important. Swamiji spoke about it 110 years back, about different religions coming together, mutually coexisting. Not only religions, even people with different temperaments. Some people we cannot work with at all. Some people are very intelligent, some people are very dull. But we have to exist with all of this. So, Vedantically, how we are going to approach this? We have to live in society consisting of different type of people and also different organisms and the whole nature. So our existence has to be in the midst of all this. So that was about universality. Then Swamiji, I was thinking, Swamiji said some basic things like walk early morning and the evening also. See, even myself I'm practicing this because Swamiji has said this take long walk. I made it a point that at least once a day I go for a walk to the extent possible. I mean, those are the guidances Swamiji has given. And about the money also, he was given very clear instructions how to handle money, how to divinize our lives, and how to remember God every moment of our life. So all those things come in day-to-day guidance. Then we have religion and God. So most of you know that maybe in your college also people may turn their noses. Now, what is this religion? What is God? But Swami has given a very clear, rational explanation of religion and God. So that should be presented to people. So by simply saying go to temple and just to do puja, people may not want it. So we can't force them, but we should have a rational explanation of religion and God that will bring more people into the fold of religion. So some of these thoughts on that. Then we have the yogas, the different yogas. So the whole idea of this book is uh, to guide the individual in his journey towards its ultimate destiny. So with that theme, I worked on it. I think you probably know a book by name Swami Vivekananda on himself. That book was taken with a theme what Swamiji said about himself. So this book I took the opposite thing, like what Swami Vivekananda has told us. So that's how it came, and we have done quite well, and I'm quite happy with the response we have got. More importantly, Swami Vivekananda's sayings, they're out of the world, and they benefit us a lot. So anyway, these books available online, and also you can read the complete book itself online. Whatever it is, I suggest that you spend more time reading Swamiji and working out these ideas. And as I said at the very beginning, Swamiji said, my hope of the future lies in the use of character, intelligent, renouncing all for the service of others, and obedient. Then he continued and said, who can sacrifice their lives in what? In working out my ideas. Swamiji very clearly said, because there are so many ideas. We only need to work out. The path has been laid out already. We need to work only. There's no need for us to till the land and make a new path. Swami has given us path already. So we can sacrifice their lives in working out my ideas and thereby do good to themselves and the country at large. So I think the Swami has given us a very clear picture. Tomorrow is his birthday. Of course, tomorrow we will celebrate, but it's lifelong process, day-to-day process, and we have to spread positivity around us. The message of divinity should go to every individual. Swamiji said, always tell people that they are the glorious children of immortality, not that we are sinners or limited by the body and mind complexes. No, identity is something bigger than this. So this great idea that everyone is God, that identity should be realized. Swamiji, I will just conclude with two important messages of Swamiji. Swamiji said that two things are very important. One is the divinity of the soul, that we are divine, that should be known to us, and we should work towards it. And I'm not manifesting as God completely at this point of time, that doesn't matter, but I should know that my real nature is divine. And not only mine, everything in this world is full of divinity, and you must recognize the divinity in every individual, and you must make it a habit, make it a process, do it continuously. It's not going to happen tomorrow, not going to happen next moment, but this is the lifetime work. So that we should know, that is the divinity of each soul. Then Swamiji says solidarity of the universe. The whole universe is one. You must feel that oneness of existence. These are the two things Swamiji said is the most important thing to be taught to anybody, as a matter of fact. So let us build our lives on these great ideas. We are all fortunate because somebody like Vivekananda has come us and we are coming in touch with such great message that Swami Vivekananda has given to us, which is such a avenue to perfection. So with this, I conclude my talk, and thank you all for listening to me, and thank you Arka for inviting me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Naveena. It's great hearing you. It's a very enriching lecture, and I think whoever are present in this meet, all have felt that a very enriching lecture on Swami Vivekananda, and also about how you started writing this book and how it helped everyone. Thank you, Naveena, and our humble request to you will be that in future also we would like you to join in our meet and enrich us in various teachings of Thakurma and Swamiji and direct disciples.
Yeah.
Now, I want to tell you, thank you. I want to tell you, Naveena, that it's a good thing to hear that in our group, many members are of different religions from different traditions. So that shows that the teachings of Swamiji, how much they are universal. You have been telling in the last few points. So that shows, that gets revealed. Now we will go to Sohail. We all are waiting for many weeks to listen to Sohail. Sohail has been reading from the beautiful book Vedanta Voice of Freedom, compiled by Swami Chetanananda ji of Swamiji's lectures. Sohail.
Hello everyone. First of all, I would like to thank Naveena for joining our group and saying such wonderful things and teachings and inspirations and motivations of Swami Vivekananda, and how sincerely the youth of India, especially the youth of India and in broader terms the youth of any country, should do their needful uh, to reach out to people who are in great need and do something for themselves, and that will make a great difference to anyone's life. And we are greatly privileged to have Naveena in our group, and that it also reminds us that we are also uh, having a great responsibility in building up or shaping up the nation. And other than just going through the books or teachings of any great person, it would be a great duty of ours, generally the youth of the country, to do some duty, just not to get motivation, but do some duty from our part to reach out to people and make this world a better place. So thank you, Navina, once again. So it had been a long week, I think more than 4 weeks last when I read from Vedanta. And I must recollect that I was reading the introduction part of from the book Vedanta Voice of Freedom. And today I will complete the first chapter. And the introduction part took us uh, through the journey of Swami Vivekananda, how he started and he met Sri Ramakrishna, and how he was introduced to the concept of Brahma, this oneness, all these things. So today I will continue, and hopefully we will continue complete the first chapter, and it will be an enriching one. In 1897, Vivekananda founded the Ramakrishna Math and Mission and framed its rules and regulations. He delineated the aims and ideals of the Ramakrishna order, which are purely spiritual and humanitarian in nature. Property was purchased at Belur across the river of Calcutta, which became the headquarters of the order. There, Vivekananda installed the relics of Sri Ramakrishna. The master once told me, said Vivekananda, I will go and live wherever you take me, carrying me on your shoulder, be it under a tree or in the humblest cottage. 2 days before his passing away, Vivekananda made the prophetic statement, the spiritual impact that has come here to Belur will last 1500 years, and this will be a great university. Do not think I imagine it, I see it. Two other centers were started by Vivekananda, one at Mayavati in the Himalayas, where Westerners would practice non-dualistic Vedanta, and the other in Madras. He also started 3 magazines to propagate the ideals of Vedanta. But soon his health began to fail because of this constant work. He was badly needed rest. His American disciples and friends wanted him to come back to America, and his brother's disciples also felt that a sea voyage would do him good. Thus, on June 20, 1899, Vivekananda left for the West for a second time, accompanied by Swami Turiyananda and Sister Nivedita. During his voyage, the Swami said to Nivedita, the older I grow, the more everything seems to lie in the manliness. This is my new gospel. He stopped a few days in London and then proceeded to America. I love the Yankee land, he wrote to an American woman. I like to see new things. I do not care a fig to loaf about old ruins and mope a little life out about old historic and keep sighing, keep citing about the ancient. I have too much vigor in my blood for that. In America, in America is the place, the people, the opportunity for everything new. I have become horribly radical. As he continued his travels, his teachings, his observations, writings, and meditations, Vivekananda's belief in the effectiveness of Vedanta grew. He saw it not as a mere religion or philosophy, but rather than a means by which science and religion could become reconciled, and material prosperity and spirituality blended. He noticed how East was strong in noble religious and spiritual traditions, even though it suffered from grinding poverty, while the West, for all its technological advancement and influence, suffered from spiritual poverty. There was no reason, he thought, why East and West could not profit from each other's strength by removing each other's weakness. And in his teachings, writings, and lectures, Vivekananda expressed his belief that the strength giving rational and practical principles of Vedanta could help mankind advance in mind, spirit, and science. By preaching the profound secrets of Vedanta in the Western world, he said, we shall attract the sympathy and regard of this mighty nation, maintaining for ourselves the position of their teachers in spiritual matters. Let them remain our teachers in all material concerns. Nothing will come of crying day and night before them. Give me this, give me that. When this grows a link of sympathy and regard between both nations, by this give and take intercourse, there will be then no need for these noisy cries. They will do everything on their own accord. I believe that by this cultivation of religion and wider division of Vedanta, both our country and the West will gain enormously. This time, Vivekananda stayed in the West for a year and a half. He preached mainly in New York and on the West Coast. Typically, he paid no heed to the continued strain of his workload placed on his health. He was burning up his energy in ceaseless service of mankind. In San Francisco, he said to a woman disciple, you know, I may have to be born again. You see, I have fallen in love with man. In July 1900, he left New York to attend a Congress of History of Religions in Paris, where he spoke twice. He then traveled to Vienna, Constantinople, Athens, and Cairo, accompanied by Madame Calvé and Miss Josephine MacLeod. After returning to India in December 1900, Swami Vivekananda concentrated on giving final shape to his man-making religion. It was his experience that an ideal character could be found by combining the four yogas, the paths of action, knowledge, devotion, and meditation. And he trained the monks accordingly. But as he knew he was coming to the end of his mission, he guided and inspired his brothers monks and his own disciples so that they could relieve from his responsibility. Once he said to Miss MacLeod, I shall never see 40. I delivered my message and I must go. When she asked, why go? He replied, the shadow of a big tree will not let the smaller trees grow up. I must go to make room. He consulted the Bengali almanac and, unknown to anyone else, chose a date for his final departure, that is July 4, 1902. Sister Nivedita left his graphic account. He had spent hours of that day in formal meditation. Then he had given a long Sanskrit lesson. Finally, he had taken a walk from the monastery gate to the distant high road. On his return from his work, the bell was ringing for Evashong, and he went to his own room and sat down, facing towards the Ganges to meditate. It was the last time. The moment was come, and that had been foretold by his masters from the beginning. Half an hour went by, and then, on the wings of the meditation, his spirit soared whence there could be no return, and the body was left like a folded vesture on the earth. Once, towards the end of his mission, he said to Western audience, it may be that I shall find it good to get outside of my body, to cast it off like a disused garment. But I shall not cease to work. I shall inspire men everywhere until the world shall know that it is one with God. So we have reached the end of the introduction chapter of the book Vedanta. I hope it has given immense knowledge or immense information about how this book is going to be, how the work of Swami Vivekananda was. And it is just a beginning. We will get into depth in the later chapters more about this book. Thank you.
Thank you, Sohail. It was a very enriching for all of us. And in background, Ishita showing the various images of Swami Vivekananda, actual photos of Swami Vivekananda in America. So some we felt, or maybe we just when Sohail was speaking from the words of Swamiji, we went mentally, we went to that era where Swami Vivekananda was giving his beautiful words to Josephine MacLeod and other devotees, Western devotees. So beautiful, beautiful. Sohail, thank you, Sohail, for this beautiful, enriching reading that you have given us from this beautiful book. Now we will go to the youngest member of our group. He reads in class 8, and I think it's a great privilege for all of us to have him. He tries to attend in our regular meets. He will be reading Swami Vivekananda's quotes from the beautiful book Pulse of Wisdom. Adrija is his name. He reads in class 8. He's the youngest member of our group. Adrija.
Hello, very good afternoon to everybody. I'm feeling very blessed to speak in front of the revered sir. I will resume my reading from the Pulse of Wisdom, page number 5, Bhakti. The great quality of Bhakti is that it cleanses the mind. Hatred is a thing which greatly impedes the course of Bhakti. Bhakti can be more easily practiced by persons in every conditions of life. Paridhana is that sort of bhakti in which, without seeking a result, such as sense enjoyments, etc., all works are dedicated to that teacher of teachers. Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is natural, sweet, and gentle. Bhakti Yoga does not say give up, it only says love, love the highest. Blows are what awaken us and help to break the dream. Body. This thirst after body is the great man of human life. Body is the name of a series of changes. Not one body is constant. This body is a combination. This idea of body is a simple superstition. We have to keep the body in good health. All the forces that are working in this body have been produced out of food. Body is an unreal dream, and we think we are all bodies. When the forces that hold it together go away, the body must fall. The body and mind are dependent. The bodies come and go, but the soul does not change. Body is the name of a stream of matter continuously changing. The body cannot be the soul. The less the thought of the body, the better. Here is the greatest of altars, the living, conscious human body. It is the body that drags us down. This body is not I, it must go. It is the one that creates the body. The body is our enemy, and yet is our friend. The body is mortal, and the mind is mortal, both being compounds and must die. There is but one temple, the body. It is the only temple that ever existed. The body must be properly taken care of. Get rid of the bondage of body. Body is our schoolmaster. Thank you.
Thank you, Adrija, for being with us. So much patience. He has been listening from the beginning of our talk. Thank you. Now we'll be going to Sayan. Sayan will be reading from the famous person's thoughts on Swami Vivekananda. Sayan. Sayan, are you there? Hopefully Sayan is there. Sayan? I think Sayan. Is there any problem with Sayan? I think technical problem. I think Sayan will join in. Sayan seems to have left just now. I don't know. Sayan has joined. Okay, thank you. Sayan, you can continue.
Sorry. Sorry.
Yes, we can hear you,
Yes,
sir.
Arka,
You can
for
continue.
the interruption.
Yeah.
Am I audible? Yeah. Thank you, Arko. Thank you, Naveena, for that wonderful speech you have given. So I'm going to read some of the thoughts of great men on Swami Vivekananda. The following is been said by Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. I cannot write reckless in his activity, unceasing in his activity, boundless in his love, profound and versatile in his wisdom, exuberant in his emotions. I can go on for hours and yet fail to do the slightest justice to that. He was a yogi of the highest spiritual, in direct communion with the truth, who consecrated his whole life to the moral and spiritual uplift of humanity. Swamiji harmonized the East and the West, religion and science, past and present. He is great. Our countrymen have gained unprecedented self-respect, self-reliance, and self-assertion from his teachings. He was so great, so complex, a yogi of the highest spiritual level in direct communion with the truth, who had for the time been consecrated his whole life to the moral and spiritual uplift of his nation and of humanity. That is how I would describe him. If he had been alive, I would have been at his feet. Mahatma Gandhi said, I have gone through his works very thoroughly, and after having gone through them, the love that I had for my country became a thousandfold. Bal Gangadhar Tilak, who met Swamiji several times, has said, it is an undisputed fact that it was Swami Vivekananda who first held aloft as a challenge against the material science of the West. It was Swami Vivekananda who first took on his shoulders the stupendous task of establishing the glory of Hinduism. In different countries across the borders, and he, with his erudition, oratorial power, enthusiasm, and inner force, laid that work upon a solid foundation. 12 centuries ago, Shankaracharya was the only great personality who not only spoke of the purity of our religion, but also brought all this into action. Swami Vivekananda is a person of that stature. Where you can find a man like him, study what he wrote and learn from his teachings. For if you do, you will gain immense strength. Take advantage of the fountain of wisdom or spirit that flowed through, rooted in the past, full of pride in India's prestige. Vivekananda was yet modern in his approach to life's problem and was a kind of bridge between the past of India and her present. He came as a tonic to the depressed and demoralized Hindu mind and gave it self-reliance and some roots in the past. Thank you, Arka.
Thank you, Sayan. That were the famous person thoughts on Swami Vivekananda, and with Sayan, we come to the end of our meet. It's a beautiful meet. Thank you to all the speakers, especially Naveena, Sohail, and all those who joined us, and to all those who listened us. Thank you to all of you, and try that you, as Naveena said, try to increase other members also, and try to add members in our group and share Swamiji's teachings with others. Today, in the ending note, I want to pray to Thakurma and Swamiji that may we follow their teachings and may we apply it in our every moment of life. Thank you. Thank you to all of you. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Thank you. Jai Swamiji.